One, two, three. Hey, welcome back, y'all. How y'all doing today? Welcome back to another episode of the Zolian Podcast, where I talk about, fantasy, family, and freedom. Man, listen, I gotta tell you something, you guys. I don't want to say I told you so, but, I told you so. This is an unfortunate reality we live in, where things are so predictable now. You can't unsee it. You can't unsee it. Right now, the Dungeons and Dragons film came out to very little fanfare. I'm not trying to laugh. It's not funny. It's sad. But at the same time, it's like, what else do you expect? With all the negativity surrounding Wazards, I call them Wazards, guys. I'm sorry. Surrounding Wazards, Hasbro, all the bad feelings out there, the bad sentiment that's out there, when it comes to this particular property, it's at this point, that was like the death nail. The hobby itself has kind of been, introduced to the main culture, the mainstream already multiple times. And even during Katana event, the at-home event, the lockdown event, we'll say lockdown. During the lockdown times, it was at its peak as far as popularity, as far as books being bought, as far as products being bought. People loved the product, people used it, but it was a utilitarian thing. Utilitarian? Is that right? Utilitarian? Yeah, it was a utilitarian thing, right? They were using it because at that moment in time, it was the most fun thing to do because they didn't have any other options. Now that people can go outside, guess what people did? They went outside. Normies love to go outside. I'm sorry. That's why they call it touching grass, guys. That's why people, say, hey, touch grass. It might be good for you. Because people like it. People, gravitate towards social endeavors. They gravitate towards outside activities. They gravitate towards sunlight. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that, D&D, you playing D&D at home instead is a bad thing. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the gross majority of people, the vast majority of people, when presented with an option to go outside and do things, that's what they will do, especially if they've been locked down for 2.5 years or however long they've been. That varies based on where you're living. And so, long story short, people would stop playing D&D and stop buying the products and stop, and the sales dropping and everything. And, WOTC and Hasbro grossly misunderstood their actual place as far as in the monoculture, I'll call it. And as a result of that, they thought this movie would still be a banger. They thought, despite all the negativity surrounding their products, right, because of all the things that they were doing that, we've talked about in the past. You can see my past videos. With all that happening, they thought, oh yeah, we're still gonna push through. We still got the normies. It's like, no, dude. They're gonna see it as just a regular fantasy film, like a normie fantasy film. That's how they're gonna look at it. They're gonna, some of them are gonna try it out, and some of them won't. That's just the reality of things, okay? It's not like the Marvel thing, right? It's not the part of the zeitgeist, the lexicon. It's not, a household name. I'm sorry. It just isn't, and it never will be, in my personal opinion. I think that time has long since passed. Wizards had the opportunity to make that a thing a long time ago. And actually, if you want to be hardcore honest with you, it was because of Matt Mercer, really, that it hit so hard, because a certain new type of audience entered the field because of, what was that show called? I forgot what that show is called. Critical Role. I don't watch it, so I don't know. But yeah, then that really hurt. That actually hurt the hobby quite a bit, them entering the field. I'm just going to say that. This is what it is. And so they thought, we're going to still get normies, and they didn't. So here we go with this drama of Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, predicted to be a flop. despite better opening weekend box office haul than originally predicted. Now, you remember, no matter how many millions they made, because a lot of people out there have been arguing, they made a lot of money. They made millions, blah, 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 blah. You have to remember one thing. To us, a millions is a lot of money. But to them, millions is like nothing. They spent a ton of money making this thing happen, making the licensing deals happen, the promotion itself, the promotion money itself is in the millions. It's just one of those things that you have to understand, like, when stacked with all the other things, it's actually a drop in the bucket to what they were spending overall. Now, they'll never tell you what they really spent, because a company like this needs to keep like in the they need to keep in the positive. They need to seem like their VCs are making a good investment when it comes to this company, versus the reality of they just bought a rug pull. I mean, I hate to say it to the VCs, but they did buy a rug pull. I'm just saying, it's a slow rug. You could go watch my episode on slow rugs, what that means, because that is a whole thing. I won't even go into it, but it is a slow rug. No matter what products they make, they're slowly rugging. Let me go ahead and scroll down here. And by the way, don't forget, the box office opening weekend, it's on one hand, it means a little bit of something. It means that there was some interest, but that doesn't mean it's going to be a long-standing, success. You just have to remember, a lot of good films, not even good films, bad films even, did great in the box office on the opening weekend, and then just disappeared into the night. And the weeks after, 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, a month after, no one even talks about it. No one's seeing it. Nobody's looking around. Maybe like they get some paddle, some drops in the bucket, some small handful of people still watching as a matinee, but they're not like, there's not an audience like a full audience, a full auditorium of people. Okay, those cinema rooms are, let me tell you something, those cinema rooms, they're looking kind of empty. Okay, you'll see five or six people, maybe 10 people, 20 people at a time watching it in the next couple of weeks, but that's about it. It's about the flop. In my opinion, it's about the flop, because look at the reality. Big box office opening weekend, cool. What's this film? What's the film following up? Oh yeah, big blockbusters are coming. Mario movie. What's the other one? I forgot the other one. I can't remember. Oh, John Wick. Isn't that already out right now? I'm just saying. I'm not saying that people won't also see D&D as well. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying they're gonna say, "Oh, I'm seeing John Wick. I ain't seeing this." I'm saying that if they see John Wick and they see this film, they are not gonna be talking this film up to other people. They're gonna be like, "All right, this was a gross disappointment." Okay, that's why I'm just telling you. People do that all the time. They'll see a good movie, they'll see a mid movie, and they'll be like, "This mid movie sucks," or "I don't want to talk about it." Versus if a mid movie came out and there was nothing going around it, it has a shot. It has a good shot and making good sales, because people will just see anything. There's people who will see anything, and there's nothing wrong with that. Get your audience, right? I always say, get your money, get your audience. Box office tracking website predicted at the beginning of March, D&D Honor Among Thieves would gross between 23 and 30 million in its opening weekend, and go on to bring 52 to 90 million during its entire run as a domestic. The film exceeded those predictions. Okay, cool. 38.5 million domestically and another 33 million internationally, for a global gross of 71.5 million the opening weekend. Despite this, the box office analyst declares it's actually doing better than projected out because of a massive budget. But because of a massive budget, I think right now it's pretty easy to say the film will probably be a massive flop. So you remember this part. This part is in relation to. They already spent way more than this right here overall. And they'll never tell you what they spent. But I have an insider that says is more than 2x. It's more than 2x of this. That's not good. 2x of this is not good. That's bad. Even though, again, it is doing better than projected, it is still early. It's only been the first weekend, and the word of mouth is pretty strong for the movie. Okay, cool. And that being said, this type of start is not the kind of start you want to have when you have a budget of 150 million. I was right. Oh man. Oh man. When I said that, listen, man. When I said that, I didn't know they were gonna tell you what it was. That's funny. Oh, that's unfortunate. I'm not laughing at them. Well, I'm kind of a little bit. When you already tell people you're gonna emasculate your male protagonist, I ain't telling nobody to see this film, nor will I want people's kids see this film and get psyoped. I'm good. They mentioned Super Mario Brothers movie coming out this weekend. That movie's about to go crazy. That film I don't know, man. That film, especially since Nintendo, we might have to talk about Super Mario Brothers, guys. I don't know. You tell me if you want me to talk about that in the comments. I might actually see it. Let me know if you want me to see that too, and I could like review it or whatever and talk about it if it's a psyop or not for your kids. Because I'm very concerned about that kind of content where they pretend it's good for kids. Then you see it and you're like, oh, it's full of psyop stuff. I don't want that to happen to your kids. You know what I mean? Like, you should be able to filter and watch something, screen it so it's safe for your kids. And when I mean by safe, I don't mean like it'll psychologically scar your kids. I mean, most adults are smart enough to figure out, like, most adults can see right away if something's gonna try and like mess with their kids. But the psyop stuff is like the long game. That's the CCP plan style thing, and that's a lot more sinister. It's a very slow. It's another slow rug, but it's a different kind of rug. It's like you plant the seeds of negativity in somebody's mind, and then like years later they have like really horrible ideas about themselves. Very negative mentality about themselves, self-worth, and all that. And you wanna ensure your children have positive self-worth. And watching watching content that they said they're gonna emasculate their men. It's like, no, dude, that's outright no. That's like saying, and just look at the context. Let's look at it racially, okay? Imagine if a director said, I'm gonna make a movie that makes black people feel bad about themselves. I'm gonna make a film and you just outright said that. I'm gonna make a film that makes black people feel like, less than human. You know what I mean? Like, think about how wild that a reaction you would get from the internet. It would just be. I don't even think you'd be able to show that film in the theater. I don't think, worldwide at least, you wouldn't be able to just show it everywhere in America. You just wouldn't be able to do it. So I always look at it from that kind of context of what would it look like on the other side? And that makes you zoom out and see how ridiculous the comment actually is, because we're so inundated with so much negativity about men in general that we're kind of like desensitized to it. So I zoom out and I look at it from a context that isn't happening, and then you would know. You know what I mean? Is it fair? Is it right? Is it just? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it evil? That you will know at that point. You know what I mean? So anyways, I think we've said enough. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm open. I'm all ears about this. Are you seeing the film? There's no judgment on my part. I'm not judging you. There's no value judgment here, okay? If you're going to sail the seven seas even with this, I'm not going to judge you either. It is what it is. Do what works for you. I'm never going to tell you what to do. That is your life. It is your money. It is your freedom. See life as it is worth it to you. Do what works, okay? Go on the path. Go down your own path. That's why I talked about the whole shadow pill thing. Remember a long time ago? I said the shadow path, right? There's the shadow pill, which is the idea of going your own way, doing your own thing. And then the path is actually doing it. You're doing it. You're going on your own path, your unmarked path, your unmarked journey. Make life work for you. Okay, you're an adult. I'm not here to tell you what to think, what to do. And I want you to let me know what you think, man. Appreciate your time. God bless. Have a great day.